Hello, Dawn. I did not, but because you know I don't like listening to music from games I want to play. I want to see how bad it is firsthand when I play it in 3 years. I'm sorry, Phoenix, but I can simply be white noise for your writing. Yes, I am playing! Why would I not play it? It's Katamari! I want to play Katamari! You're crazy for saying that. You're insane. It's just the first Dawn game I'm gonna play as Okami first. That does not mean never. 30 minutes had already passed since Rudolph's group had left the guest house. By any measure, the return was too late, and Kraus and Natsuhi, who waited by the entrance, were reaching the limits of their patience. The chain was set on the door. That was a precaution in the event that Rudolph's group was attacked and the master key stolen from them. For that reason, they needed to wait by the entrance like this for the others to return. I miss her. I just get sad now when she appears because I just remember that she peaked in high school. Never. This is just what happened. Oh no, Phoenix is reading the Homestuck now. I can't say spoilers, but there's a character in Homestuck that I really like. And they peaked in high school, and now they're nothing burger. See ya, Dawn. Thank you for stopping by. They really are too late. Did you think something might have happened to them?
Indeed.
Kraus glanced between his watch and the door, struggling to keep his composure. If something happened to prevent them from returning.
A terrible thought, but it seems we should be ready ourselves to that possibility. So it really was too reckless after all.
That is what I said. Why did they go outside when they knew it was this dangerous? How foolish. Why go outside even though Rosa-san had just been attacked?
Nothing will come of saying that now. At any rate, there are now 3 adults in the guest house. Me, you, and Eva, who is asleep with a high fever.
At that time, the forceful sound of a door being opened came from the hallway, and they heard Eva's panicked voice. The voice kept calling out Hideyoshi's name. It seemed as though she'd had a bad dream or something due to her fever and was calling for her husband. Eva-san! Was it you? Are you okay? Where is my husband? My husband isn't here! Even though he promised that he'd stay with me the whole time! Even though he promised that he'd grasp my hand the whole time! Kraus was struck dumb by this attitude of hers, which she had never shown in front of him before, but until he understood her feelings. Calm down. Hideyoshi-san is with Rudolph-san and Kairi-san, and they're outside right now. Outside? Why? Why did he go outside after he promised that he'd stay stay with me the whole time. You mustn't go outside. The witch is inside. You mustn't go. You'll be killed.
Eva, calm yourself. Hideyoshi-san returned to the mansion with Rudolph and Kairi-san.
Why did he go to the mansion? Why did he go outside? And even though it's safe here, why did he go back to the mansion?
They went to get enough food to last until tomorrow. Hideyoshi-san was worried about your health and said that was partly why he must go.
When will they be back? When will they come back? Don't go outside, don't go outside, don't go to the rose garden, don't go to the mansion. The witch is there, the golden witch is walking about. If she finds you, you'll be killed, you'll definitely be killed. When will my husband come back? They left here 30 minutes ago. We are waiting for them to return. 30 minutes ago? Isn't that strange? Why would it take so much time for they to go to the mansion and get food and come back? And why are you two just standing around here? We must go get them! We must hurry to where they are! Eva probably had quite a nightmare, and because it had continued even after she woke up, she could no longer hide her panic. That's why he tried calming her down, but all it did was make Eva's emotions explode even more. Maybe they heard that disturbance. Butler and the kids who had supposedly been on the second floor were peeking their faces through the crack of the lobby door. Kraus, Natsuhi, Eva, and Butler, George, Jessica, Nanjo. Everyone in the guest house had gathered at the entrance and understood their current situation. I agree with Mother. We should go to check on Father and the rest. Yeah, that's right. It's even possible that the load's too heavy and they're having trouble carrying it. They should welcome some extra hands.
This happened right after Rosenson was attacked. This may have been a secondary disaster connected to that. We should act with caution here and...
Don't be a fool! What do you mean, caution? Are you saying that we should let my husband die even though he might be begging for help? I'm going to look, and the cowards can stay here. Looking agitated, Eva raised her gun, and judging by her face it would be useless for anyone to try and stop her. George, who realized that first, raised his head. I'll go as well. You will too, right, Badlurkul? The more people, the better. Sure. Aunt Eva, we're coming even if you tell us not to. I'm coming too. I can't be the only one who to hide in a safe place. Jessica, you mustn't go outside. Stay here with me. Got it? It was like they were implying that these three had already been killed anyway, so going outside would be pointless. That's when he realized that Eva felt like her heart had been gouged out, but she spoke out strongly as Jessica's mother. You're right. That should be fine. Let's have Nisan's family keep an eye on the guest house. This is a problem for my family and Madlukun's, and I wonder if Dr. Nanjo would mind coming too, just in case. Oh. In the hall of the mansion, Butler, Eva, George, and Nanjo. I heard it. How do I open the thing again? There. Ushinomiya Hideyoshi died in the mansion's hall with his chest having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a snake. Careless, who knew he was still alive. Oh, careless, who knew she was still alive. What? I don't know what that means. Ushinomiya Rudolph died in the mansion hall with his forehead having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a snake. From now on, they have to be finished off with stakes. Apparently, vulgar. Ushinomiya Kairi died in the mansion's hall with her stomach having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a snake. The stomach is in a very lethal spot. Wouldn't it have been okay to kill her by a safer method and just stick a stake in the corpse? Found the corpses of Rudolph, Kairi, and Hideyoshi. The 4th through 6th twilights. Then the corpses were pierced through the forehead, chest, stomach with those demon stakes. Yes, the demon stakes are buried into them, one in Rudolph's forehead, one in Hideyoshi's chest, and one in Kairi's stomach. The disorder of the clothing on all three suggests that they were fighting for or running away. Since the three corpses were not found right next to each other, it is I know the word hypothesis, but as in a hypothesized. It's hypothesized that after coming into contact with the culprit, they attempted some form of resistance. And they had stakes in the forehead, chest, and stomach. Horrible, just like usual. Even though Ronove knew it would be superfluous, he contemplated telling Battler the truth. Normally, the witch would have killed them in a much, much more horrible way. The corpses have been left in this manner only because Beato has suggested to the witch that she show restraint. The new witch, thinking it would fit well as long as she gouged him with stakes, would probably had just stuck a stake into a lump of meat that wasn't even shaped like a human. Rosa and Maria's corpses were a particularly striking example. If they had been killed as the Golden Witch had wished, just how gruesome would the corpses have been? Beato had changed that into the still better kind of killing Butler had mentioned earlier. Wanted to have Beato's small but bit of thoughtfulness appreciated, he thought of telling Butler about this, but judging by Butler's eyes, that would do more harm than good. To humans, the gap between being alive and being dead is very large. Saying that she'd given them better deaths might have made it possible for a demon to understand her feelings and pardon her, but there was no way a human would be so accepting. Understanding this, Ronove remained silent despite knowing of Beato's modest efforts. Just like usual, let's start by checking whether the corpses are dead. Ronove, please declare it in red. Hey, can you hear me? Please declare it in red. Repeat it. Rudolph, Kairi, and Hideyoshi are dead. My apologies. Allow me to decline from repeating that. The hell? What are you planning all of a sudden? By now, proclaiming that the victims were dead in red was almost a given in this battle. Is he refusing to do things now so that Butler asks for Beatrice to come back again? Refusing to do that was almost like losing by default. So when Ronove refused as part of his first move, Butler was dumbfounded. My apologies. As of this moment, I relinquish my position as my lady's representative. Accordingly, I cannot repeat that in red. The only one qualified to repeat that is my lady. His point is a valid one. Ronove is only a representative of Beato's side. If he steps down from that position, and if you will not accept Beato as an opponent, a new representative must be named. No new representative exists. Please, Butler-sama, please accept my lady as your game partner once more. Sorry, but that's an advice I can't listen to. I definitely won't accept that unpleasant, cruel bastard as my opponent. My refusal to accept her is why I can't step down from this game. As to her being unpleasant, I apologize, my lady, sir. Allow me to pledge that my lady will not undertake such unpleasant actions again. I wonder about that. Butler-kun, I also wanted to apologize as that child's teacher. I'll give the child a good talking to, so please offer your forgiveness just this once. Hey, enough of that. You're making it sound like I'm the bad guy. And no matter how much you guys apologize, it won't reach my ears. If Beato can say that from her own lips, well, I might listen to her. Understood. If that is your only condition for acknowledging your opponent again, let us have the child apologize. Ronove, call for that child. Will that be alright, Butler-kun? Jeez. Do whatever you want. Still, don't expect me to forgive her. Go get that irritating witch. You have my thanks, Butler-sama. I shall summon her here. My lady, Butler-sama is calling for you. After a few heartbeats, gold butterflies gathered together in midair and created Beato's form. It was a much more docile appearance than the ones she'd made before. Did you call Ronove? I believe you heard. Is there something you have to say from your own lips? It looked as though Bato shrunk slightly under Butler's cold gaze. Several times Bato made an effort to get the words out of her mouth, but that didn't work so well. And she was just as awkward as someone trying to light a match during a freezing winter with icy hands. Even as she did that, the game board was advancing. In the hall, they had just formed the corpses of the new victims that had broken down crying. Sam's my favorite tomatoling. Could you pass on this message on to the tomatoling? I would love, if possible, if he so deems it a thing that he wishes to do, to have the manga panels of Bato attempting to apologize here. Kairi-san. Dear. Mother, hang in there. Even for me, so crushing. So sad.
They probably died instantly. I'm sure that even if we had arrived immediately after they fell, it would have been too late.
No, that's wrong. They were definitely alive. His chest was stabbed with something like this. My husband must have died in extreme pain. If we had come faster, surely they would have been saved. They would definitely have been saved. Must be tough for you too, but they're good. You must stay strong. Okay. It's okay, Aniki. Let me cry just a little. Good girl. I've got it the best. I should be the least sad. So if you let me cry just a little longer, I'll be fine. It isn't true. I can understand how much it must hurt your heart to have lost both parents. I still have mother. That's much better than what you're going through, but you could. No, that's wrong! It's got to be toughest for you, George Aniki. I understand, Aniki. In this group, you're the saddest. And the one who has it toughest. I understand that. So I can't keep on sobbing like this. Why do you say it's toughest for me? To me, Dad and Kairi-san were people I'd eventually split up with when I grew up and became independent. Since they're parents, it was fated that they'll die before their kids. It just happened a little early, that's all. But it's different for you, Aniki. You didn't just lose your parents who would have parted ways with you eventually. You also lost Shannon-chan, someone you should have spent the rest of your life with. You can value human lives differently. Whether it's a baby or an old person, they should all be respected the same. But still, the more life that person has had ahead of them, the longer the future you're building together is. The saddest the fact that their death is. Aniki, you were engaged to Shannon-chan, right? You promised that you'd build a life and a home together in the future, right? Compared to how huge that future was. Compared to how huge that happiness was. Stuff like my pain doesn't even come close. So you should be allowed to cry much, much more, Aniki. And yet, just because you act like a big brother to us cousins, you force yourself to act like you're so calm. Stop it. Jerk was trying to make a calm smile, but already he couldn't stop a single hot tear from leaving a streak down his face. There's no way I wouldn't be sad, right? Together with Shannon-chan, I painted a picture of many futures in my mind. We talked of dreams that couldn't all come true even if we lived 100 years. those dreams. Even the very first one, having her move into my family register could not be granted. So there's no way I wouldn't be sad, right? Compared to that, like I said, I have no right to cry anymore. When even you're struggling to hold it in, I have no right to shed any more tears. We're the same. We both feel the same sadness for losing those close to us. So there's no rule that says you can't shed any more tears than me, Batter-kun. And for me too. There's no rule that says I have to hold back my tears any longer, isn't there? Aniki. Shannon, the one who shared my dreams for the future, is dead. Father's dead too. It's so sad. So sad. As Butler and George hugged each other tightly, they cried a waterfall of tears over each other's shoulders for the people who had been so precious to them. Jeez, guy! Jeez! Okay, whatever. 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 I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. Whatever. What is this song? Yeah, it's a new song. I didn't realize. I didn't see the title. If you could tell me the title, that would be appreciated. So I was too busy crying to notice it. Do you realize why I said that Jodo-Janiki has it the toughest? You looked at him saying whatever. 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 Some kind of pause menu. You're so smart, Sam. See? You're so smart, Sam. Melting away. I was listening, so I understand. Your sadness is proportional to the length of time you would have been able to spend with the person afterwards. Oh, she's trying to care. I'm sorry, I'm good. I'm good. trying to give him. Of course you can't calculate it just like that, though. We humans aren't like you witches. From the time we receive life to the moment we die, we live within that limited period as strongly as we can manage. I can't forgive anyone who makes light of that. And I definitely can't forgive anyone who sneers at people and toys with them. A person like you, whose very concept of death is all screwed up, probably can't understand that. So, I'm not just mad because of the length of time they would have lived afterwards. It's sneering at the lives of people living with all they've got. That's what I can't forgive the most. Jodo-Janiki lived his life by recklessly doing his best. He must have appreciated his days with a grim resolve to marry Shannon-chan no matter the challenges. That's completely different from me, since I was happy just to be able to meet my cousins after a long while. But still, Battle, for now, stay silent and listen. Indeed. In a way, I understand your point. You say you need to continue murdering according to the epitaph for your own resurrection. So considering your circumstances, I can just barely bring myself to understand your murders. Because of you, it's a necessary course of action. But that means all unnecessary actions you take beyond that are due to your meaningless and brutal taste. In other words, if killing the 6 people for the first twilight was necessary action for you, then all that show of crushing their faces and slitting their stomachs and stuffing them full of sweets was completely unnecessary, and caused by nothing more than your brutal hobby. That's an aspect of you that I definitely cannot forgive. Indeed. When you saw Androsa getting repeatedly killed in that horrible way, you apparently said something like, "If they're going to be brought back to life in the end anyway, it doesn't matter how they're killed." I heard from Virgilia. That was... well... that idea that you can kill them as many times as you want as long as you bring them back to life in the end. Isn't that a completely unnecessary action with no purpose other than to toy around with someone's life? If you're going to kill, do it instantly. Don't toy with them! If you won't kill them, then don't bully them! You're taking advantage of the fact that you can do as you will with people's lives and that you're forgotten the sanctity of life. So I can't accept or acknowledge you. I definitely can accept as my opponent a person who doesn't know the value of a life or the sadness felt when lives are lost. It feels good. It feels good. It feels so validating. It feels so validating when some of the things I say are validated. This is what I was saying earlier with Beatrice, is that she literally doesn't comprehend grief. She doesn't understand that sadness of loss because she's never truly experienced it. With Eva Beatrice, she does understand, and that's why her actions are way more cruel in a deep core level compared to Beatrice. I love it. That is why the endless magic is known as a black art. The endless witch has no concept of limitations. She has no concept of the limitations and losses caused by breaking and killing. For that reason, endless witches sometimes start playing by jumping over the gap between life and death. Like it's a game. That is a very, very frightening thing. As an endless witch and by my own choosing, I never reached your level. It was something Virgilia had been trying to tell Beato for a long time. But Beato had been too young to obediently listen to those words. She had been too wild. She had been possessed by that detestable pleasure. I have been told not to break vases. No! I pronounced it wrong! How dare I? You're a fool. Let me do that again. I have been told not to break vases. But that's why I wanted to break them. Then I gained the endless magic. When I knew that I could fix them back to normal no matter how badly I broke them, I was surprised at how fun it could be to break a vase. That is what's known as the forbidden honey. People are not captivated by what's inside. Error buzzer. They are captivated by the sealed lock. It is truly regrettable. I want to ask you, Virgilia, why does this thing called the endless magic exist? For what purpose does it exist in this world? It is not limited to the endless magic. All magic exists to bring happiness to the human world. After everything that has happened, it may be difficult for you to believe Adlerku, but in order to bring blessings to the human world, we witches are supposed to become bridges between humans and non-humans, and that is why we train so hard. How does reviving the dead and torturing them to death over and over again help the human world? What a vase that was an important memento is broken. If by fixing it everyone will regain their smiles, I will repair it with magic as many times as necessary. However, I would not be fixing it in order to break it again. I will be reviving it to give humans happiness. In that case, Beato. Hold up. Wait a minute. Back to that one theory that I kinda abandoned, but it could still be possible. The one theory that said that the real Beatrice did indeed die, and this whole story is about just bringing to life the memory of Beatrice to give her peace. This whole endless magic thing is thematic because we are reviving Beatrice. You know how they say that you become immortal once your story is told? Like, you may die, but as long as you have left your mark in some way, in some type of art, you will live forever. Like, you just need to write something, write a song, a game, just draw something. That is you now. You have left a piece of you in that piece of art. So now because of that, you are now truly immortal. So that's like what we're doing right now. We will make Beatrice immortal. We will revive her by telling her story and uncovering the secrets of her past. And that is the endless magic. Now, I'm making myself cry thinking of that. Just Beatrice was forgotten, kept hidden, the real Beatrice. And after so long, she will finally live on forever because her story will be told and heard by Butler. In that case, Gato, you fell me as an endless witch. Indeed. There's this thing I've been vaguely thinking about. Why do I keep playing this strange game against you? Maybe this game isn't about making me surrender. Maybe it's a test for you to be accepted as an endless witch in the truest sense. I don't know about that. The reason I proposed this game to you was, simply as a way to kill time. There was no ulterior motives at work. Just now I heard the definition of a witch from Virgilia. By that definition, you, Beato, are not even a witch. You're an apprentice who's still in training, and who misunderstands her own power. This was supposed to be a fight between a witch and a human. If you aren't a witch, then you are qualified to be my opponent. Understand? You say I am still only an apprentice? Then when will I be accepted as your opponent once again? When can we resume this game? Who knows? At the very least, it isn't now. When you finally understand what I've said and become a real witch, I'll probably accept you as my opponent in this game once more. I can't understand if you say it so abstractedly like that. Clearly tell me what I should do to earn your forgiveness. No, I've said enough. You think about the rest. That's all I've got to say. If you can't figure it out, try talking with Virgilia and Ronove. A brat like you should start off by listening to what the adults say. Virgilia, suspend the game for now. Now that Ronove has stepped down as a representative, all we can do is wait for Bato to gain the qualifications of the proper opponent. Understood? Until Bato has been acknowledged as having earned those qualifications, the game will proceed without an opponent. Is that alright with you too, Bato? I have no objections. I want time and a place where I can think at a leisurely pace. May I leave my seat for that? Yeah, that's fine. Well then, see you later. Wait. Don't make the dejected face. Sorry about that. Letting everything inside my heart shows up on my face is part of... Letting everything inside my heart show up on my face is part of my personality. I cannot deceive. Then maybe there's still some hope for you yet. Let me promise you one thing. In this game with you, I might win, and I might lose. If you don't come back, it might be my victory by default. At that point, Butler stopped talking for a second. Then he spoke forcefully. However, I definitely won't be the one to step down. I definitely won't give you a victory by default. I'll keep on waiting here for you to sit there again as my worthy opponent. Butler-sama? Thank you, Butler. I will definitely come back and be accepted by you. After showing a hopeful smile for a very short while, Beato vanished. After seeing her expression as she left, Butler was absolutely convinced that her face could tell no lies. Cute. That was good. The 7 survivors returned to the guest house once again. By now it was clear that those who went outside would not return alive. Rudolph's group had gone out with 2 guns and a master key, but those had been lost. It was already clear that those had been stolen by the culprit. Because the shutters were closed on the windows, they couldn't be opened even if the culprit had a master key. The front and back doors that led to the outside were all sealed by chains. They were further blocked by sofas and tables. Even if the culprit decided to break in through violent means, it wouldn't be easy for them. Entry into the mansion doesn't matter. Because we can say that when Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kairi went out, Eva snuck out as well. And then Eva just welcomed herself into the group, like, hey, what's up, guys? And Hideyoshi's like, Eva, what are you doing out here? And Eva's like, oh, I couldn't just leave you go outside by your own. So the rest of the group accepted her and they went into the mansion together because, you know, they're all family. And then while inside, that's when Eva went Homestuck murder mode on everyone. And there you go. She just was innocently welcomed into the group because why would they suspect her?
At this point, the typhoon may actually be fortunate. If it were clear outside, it might have been possible for them to set fire to the guest house.
If there wasn't a typhoon in the first place, the boat would have arrived before noon. That's not much of a silver lining. Innocently shooting lasers. Tama-san, how do you feel? Please try to take it easy. Thank you. I still feel like I have a fever, but this is no time to complain about that. For the children's sake as well, this is no time to be bedridden. After crying so much in front of Hideyoshi's corpse, Eva had felt a strong self-awareness of her position as a mother. Excuse me? And her expression conveyed a strong will. In actual fact, her fever still hasn't gone down, and she was aware of that. If she didn't keep a strong hold on herself, she felt as though the fever would make her mind hazy again. By this point, the first floor formed the final line of defense set up by Kraus, Natsuhi, and Eva. The children and the guest Nanjo had been strongly warned not to go downstairs without taking great care. If the culprit used a ladder or something, it probably wouldn't be impossible for them to attack from the second floor, but it wouldn't be easy for them to break those sturdy shutters from such an insecure position. The second floor was relatively safe compared to the first. Butler and George had also wanted to remain on the first floor so that they could fight if the worst happened, but Eva had put a stop to that. In her mind, George was now the only member of her family. It seemed that she didn't even want to expose him to the danger of coming downstairs to the first floor. Kraus and Natsui could understand that feeling. Also, a great deal of time had passed since the siege began. In the second floor cousin's room, Butler, George, and Jessica sat dazed, and didn't even listen to the TV that had been left on. For a while, Nanjo had been with them, and had tried to lend them words of encouragement. But when he realized that he might actually be having the opposite effect, he hid himself in his own room on the same second floor. George kept looking dazedly at the photographs inserted in his notebook. It was from the time he'd taken a vacation to Okinawa with Shannon. Shannon's happy smile was contained in those photos. George could remember the temperature and the humidity, the warmth and strength of the wind, and even what he had been talking about with her at the time those photos had been taken, as clearly as though it had been yesterday. So to George, they weren't simply happy photos, but a door to bring back warm memories. In this room, even though the sound of the typhoon and the TV should have entered George's hearing, it was the scenery of Okinawa that he had seen with her, and the laughing voice that reached his eyes and his ears. George had strived to be reborn after meeting Shannon. He had sworn to separate himself from the timid person he had once been, easily caught up in the atmosphere, unable to refuse a request and easily used by those around him. He had resolved himself to become a strong man who could make her life more joyous. Therefore, if he hadn't been Shannon, the man called Ushiramiya George would probably have lived a very different life. And the George of that different life surely wouldn't have been as excellent a man as he is now. The person I am now exists for Shannon's sake. Now that Shannon is gone, why do I exist? It's completely meaningless, isn't it? He felt a deep, deep sadness as though he himself had become empty. That feeling must have been tormenting him this whole time. However, until Butler mentioned that he hadn't been aware of the feeling himself, he finally managed to remember that it should have been all right for him to cry much, much more. So he cried. Just like Butler had, he cried himself dry. By now his eyes were bright red and swollen, and he couldn't cry anymore. So George did his best to change his way of thinking. He was not meaningless now, and he should be grateful to Shannon for giving him such a character. The dead don't come back to life. He would have to get over being separated from his most beloved person. If he were to chase after Shannon and kill himself, he would surely be deeply dejected. It worked the other way around too. If he had died and Shannon had chased after him, throwing away her own life, he wouldn't have been able to forgive himself. So he chose to surpass his sadness and anger, and decided to thank her instead. After meeting Shannon, she made his days rich and full, and taught him the meaning of working hard for other people's sakes. As a result, he had shaped him into the kind of person he had wanted to be. He wanted to thank her for that. He tried to quell his sadness in this way, but each time he died, he remembered Shannon's smile. He understood it logically. He knew that grieving any more than this would only make her grieve in heaven. But he didn't bring a stop to his sadness. Why is it that when people die, it's so sad like this? Butler muttered. It was as though he was speaking on behalf of all humans. His question probably hadn't been directed at anyone, but Jessica answered. It's always sad when you have to say goodbye. But when the person's old or there's some time, when you know before him that it's coming sooner or later, the sadness gets spread out over a long period of time. When misfortune comes suddenly, it's sad because you don't even get that time. I see. So if they get sick or something and end up bedridden in a hospital, you might be able to ready yourself for it bit by bit. But when it happens suddenly someday, you don't get that luxury. The sadness that usually spread out over several years closes in on you all at least once. That's pretty tough. Sometimes it makes you feel a sadness so deep it can leave scars for life. Scars for life, huh? My grandfather's occult hobby. People say it's what it caused it. That Beatrice, his mistress, died a long time ago, and he was so sad that he couldn't pull himself together. Some people whisper that this is why he started sacrificing the rest of his life to occult research in order to revive the dead. If that's true, Grandfather succeeded in that miracle in his last moments. The culprit is the revived Beatrice, and Grandfather was reunited with her at the moment he was killed. Pretty ironic that he revived her and then got killed by her, huh? Even so, Grandfather probably managed to meet her. He gambled half of his life even though it was only for a short time. he was reunited with the woman he wished to see once again. That he got totally roasted though. Feels like that result doesn't quite add up to the cost of researching for half a life. That's not true. Even if it was only for an instant, grandfather must have been happy to be reunited with the woman he loved. And that would be true. Even if his crime of going against divine providence was punished by God, and his body was burnt and sent down to hell. Even if that reunion only lasted a very short time, right? George-san. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care I met with the wrath of God and had my body burned, even if it was just for a short amount of time. If I could revive Shannon again, I would sacrifice the rest of my life to the same research as grandfather. I want to talk with Shannon again, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Even 1 minute would be fine. In exchange, I wouldn't mind sacrificing the rest of my life. Aniki. When Butler and Jessica realized that their pointless discussion was causing George pain, they could do nothing more than to shut their mouths. George directed his thoughts to Kinzo's life. He sacrificed half his life to research that no one understood. And on the last day of his life, he revived the person he loved most, and probably succeeded in his reunion in his final moments. George didn't know how much time they had together. He didn't know if they had been given an hour or just 5 minutes. However, that moment must have been enough to reward him for all those months of research. Even though he spent dozens of years to achieve it, that small amount of time was probably more than worth it to him. Until today, I never believed in the occult or magic or anything. Somewhere in my heart I even made fun of grandfather's research, thinking of it as nothing more than a pastime. However, I won't make fun of it anymore. No, to the contrary, I believe strongly that it's real. If the power of belief can create miracles, I'll probably throw away all of my studies up until today, spending the rest of my life from crap. From today onward studying magic. Give me the power of magic, and give me a miracle that will let me see Shannon again. Sorry, you two. What am I talking about? If you could only revive the dead with magic, people would probably be researching it everywhere around the world. But things like that don't exist in reality. No one researches it. That's because they know the dead can't be revived with magic. Sorry for saying something so weird. It's my fault that the atmosphere here has gotten so strange. Sorry for making you tiptoe around me, even though this is tough for us all. Even if I did it to divert myself from my sadness, maybe I did say something strange. If I keep talking about stuff that's so weird, I'm sure it won't do anything good for their sadness. But that doesn't mean I can't bear the silence. I'll go downstairs and get another cup of coffee. Mom's very particular about how she likes hers. Does anyone else want a refill? Butler-kun and Jessica-chan slightly shook their heads. Without pressing them any further, I took my mug and left the room. The shutters were all closed in the hallways. The corridor was very dim. This is the spring trap hallway where you play with plush trap. You gotta flash the flashlight so he lands right here. Battle plushie mode. Yeah, oh my dude, yes. Hide and seek with plush battle. So we're missing 2 more victims. Solve the Umineko. I think Nanja lives this one. I think Nanja lives this one. I think George is the next one to go. George and Eva will be the next ones to die. And Nanja lives. Nothing ever happens here, right? One sec. The shutters were all closed in the hallway, so the corridor was very dim. I tried visiting Dr. Nanjo's room and asking if he wanted more coffee, but he said he didn't need any either. It seems my mother's unorthodox method of making coffee isn't universally appreciated. One time I made some for Shannon, but she told me that while it was delicious, it was a little strong. Shannon, that's no good. Even though I left the room to change my mood, the image of Shannon's face filling my head hasn't faded in the slightest. I keep seeing those fun days with her more and more vividly, and it's saddening that I never even got a chance to see her dead face. According to our parents, she was apparently killed with something like a gun or a spear. I'm sure they were just trying to console me, but they had said her dead face had been very beautiful and peaceful. I wonder if she had the engagement ring I gave her last night on her finger. If she accepted my engagement, she would have had it on her ring finger on her left hand. Last night we were both on the edge of losing it and not calm at all. Shannon accepted my engagement pretty courageously, but she might have regretted that as a rash decision once she cooled her head. She might have taken the ring off. I wonder if she had the ring on now. I want to be sure of at least that much. I want to know how she felt at the very end. But even if I do confirm that, it doesn't mean she'll come back. I wonder what will happen to her body. After the autopsy, it will probably be immediately cremated. Then I'll never be able to see her face, even her dead face, for all eternity. As the shock of losing Shannon made me go a little crazy. I don't want her body to be burned. If she's burned and turned to ash, never again will it be possible for her to revive. They say cremation is frowned upon in the Western tradition, because on the day of resurrection there would be no body to revive. Because of that, it seems the great criminals in Western history were often cremated after execution as a punishment, and their ashes were sometimes scattered in rivers and such. In other words, to Western people, death is nothing more than a sleep until the resurrection. It is essential that the corpse is left after death. In other words, that's because Western people knew of a miracle that can revive the dead. But that miracle didn't exist in Japan, so we burned them. Now I understand. I understand why grandfather idolized the Western occult. That was his only reason for the very beginning. Just to revive the person dear to him, grandfather spent the rest of his remaining life researching the Western occult. The situation surrounding us now is abnormal. Grandfather did revive his beloved Beatrice, and that Beatrice was carried out a terrible serial murder, with link-closed rooms that forced us to conclude that magic was used. The Golden Witch Beatrice, the incarnation of the miracle of the Western occult, and also the culprit who killed Shannon. She's an entity I should hate, and yet for some reason I want to cling to her. I wonder if Shannon could be revived with the magic of miracles which grandfather bet his life on. According to the legend of the Ushiramiya family, grandfather met with her long ago and was given a vast quantity of gold. Then, if I also met with her, instead of gold, would she give me Shannon's life? As collateral, I wouldn't care what sort of devil's contract she imposed. I wouldn't mind sacrificing all of my remaining life. George probably couldn't believe or realize that his voiceless wish was heard by the witch herself, who stood right behind him. Beatrice had been listening to that entire discussion between the children just now in the cousin's room. Butler had told her that she didn't know the value of a human's life, and wanted to understand that in her own way she had stealthily visited listening in on their discussion. That is your wish, you say? If I could grant that, would I be accepted as a witch? Batha looked at the palms of both of her hands. She had handed over most of her once surging magical power when the new witch succeeded the name of the Endless Witch. Of course, her current power still made her worthy of being called a witch, but it could not begin to compare to her previous strength. Even without the endless magic, I am a great witch whose name has been thundered for 1,000 years. Reviving the dead would be no trouble at all. Inside her head, she thought about several magical steps she could take to revive the dead. Even magic that should have been easy in the past would be difficult with her current power. She thought of something, then clicked her tongue, did so again, over and over. In the end, she finally thought of a single spell. But that was a spell that she couldn't use by herself. It was a spell that witches with weak power use, one that relied on the aid of others. In the past, Balto had looked down upon that type of magic. Therefore, she frantically tried to search for any conceivable alternative. But in the end, she couldn't think of one and slumped over in self-derision. Then, careful not to surprise him, she softly called out, softly to George's heart. Ahem. Ushiramiya George. Can you hear my voice? I can hear you. Who are you? Are you really the witch Beatrice? Or are you an illusion created by my sorrow? If it's the former, please hear my wish. If it's in the latter, if it's the latter, just leave me alone. Their conversation in some mental world was a lot like having one in a dream. Also a Homestuck reference. It's a dream bubble. When you dream, haven't you ever had the experience of casually accepting something that would have been absurd in the real world? The conversation in this world was like that. So even though a witch appeared and started talking to George, she was not surprised. Indeed, I am the Golden Witch Beatrice. Normally you and I would not be able to talk together in this manner. However, you are strongly conscious of me and wish to have a discussion. So both of our channels are able to match like this. I don't care if that person who killed Shannon was you, or someone else using your name. As long as you exist as the real witch, I'll pay whatever cost you ask me for. If you desire my life, take it right now. Please, I want you to bring Shannon back to life. That's impossible. I'd be satisfied if you just let me talk to her for a short while. Please. I'll ask for nothing in return. I shall grant that wish. Really? Really? You revive Shannon? Indeed. However, my current magical power is not sufficient to use the magic of resurrection. Therefore, I must rely on your help. If there's anything I can do, I'll do it. Even if that means taking my heart out right here and now, I would not hesitate. I told you I don't need anything like that. I would chant the magic. Then a gavel opening the door to the land of the dead. But as I am now, I would not have the power to bring Shannon's soul up through that gap. However, you have strong feelings for Shannon, and those feelings will surely become magic that can bring her soul out without fail. What do you say? Will you help me? I will. If Shannon's life will be restored, there's nothing I'm afraid to lose. George's fists shook in silence. Let me look at my reds real quick. Mouse rat? Mouse? No, shut up. Let me cook. If Shannon really comes back, here's what I got. These 6 are all dead. Kinso, Genji, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, and Kumasawa. We know for a fact that Shannon and Kanon are not the real names. They're just names someone can take. And well, I was already using that excuse for Kinso because I said that Kinso was alive. So her saying that they're dead doesn't necessarily mean that they are the ones that we know. They could just be other servants taking on the names of Shannon and Kinso. So, I go to this. There are no more than 18 people on this island. Remember, furniture are not people. There's a loophole there. So, there can be a countless number of secret servants, like I said. The theory that the 7 princes of hell could be other orphan servants is back on the menu. Relay this to Ruby Tomato and Yule Sam Skitsukoatel. I give my legacy to you. There you have it. There are more servants in this mansion that we are unaware of. And they can easily take any name because most of these names are synonyms, especially Shannon and Kanon. Kinso is not a synonym, but we can just gloss over that for a little bit. There you have it. Then he slowly came to his senses. He had been absent-mindedly standing near the window in the hall that whole time, his mug still in his hand. And the witch from his dream was still there. There you go, emo. What does that mean? Thank you. What the? It isn't a dream? Be quiet. I am very fragile now. If any more humans appear, I will not be able to preserve this form. I shall grant your wish. I keep saying wish. So stay silent for now. Understand? George covered his mouth with both hands, nodding enthusiastically several times. In that instant, he almost dropped the mug he was holding. George frantically jugged it around and caught it. He was afraid that if it fell onto the floor and made a loud sound, the witch's form might disappear like a bubble popping. He softly set the mug on the floor and stared at the witch in front of him again. Her form didn't disappear. It wasn't a dream. Come, let us go to the parlor where Shannon sleeps. With the power of your feelings, we will bring back her soul. You say go, but how? My mother and the rest are downstairs. There's no way they'd let us go outside. And didn't you just say that you wouldn't be able to preserve your form if another human appeared? Come to think of it, that is true. So Kraus and the rest are downstairs. In that case, we definitely cannot go down. Well, then we just need to go to the mansion without going down to the first floor, right? It's simple. It's simple. Belle laughed as though she thought of a pleasant prank. And with her golden pipe, she lightly tapped the window with the shutter closed. When she did, 3 gold butterflies appeared from the pipe and opened the lock on the window as though melting it. And the window opened without a sound. The shutter beyond it was exactly the same. The clasp unset itself also without making a sound, and it quietly opened. The window opened, exposing the wind and the rain outside the mansion. Perhaps because of the direction or something related to the construction of the building, the wind did not blow out inside. Because of that, for a while, George felt as though this entrance that opposed the outside was a dream, or an illusion, and he couldn't accept it as real. Come, let's go. Come with me. Bato jointly floated upwards. It was a natural action like that of a diver enjoying an underwater stroll. It made it easy to believe that if you acted like she did, you might be able to float in the sky just as though you were swimming through the water. No, George didn't believe that. So without thinking, just as she had done, he also, gently, as though swimming in the water, lifted his feet.
Huh, not bad. So you learned how to dance in the sky faster than I could explain it.
George was shocked to find himself floating in midair like he was swimming. Of course, Bato was also shocked that George, who shouldn't have been able to use magic, had figured out how to do that just by instinct. To be able to fly in the air, to swim in the air.
You mustn't be bound by reason. Accept it as a natural thing. You mustn't fall back to your human doctrines, such as those of Newton and Einstein. Especially when flying high in the sky. Inexperienced witches sometimes plummet to the earth.
Accept things for what they appear to be. Accept things for what they appear to be. George repeated those words over and over. He must not deny magic no matter what. Denying that would be like throwing away what would be his first and last chance to revive Shannon. However, compared to that, he was elegantly drifting like smoke. George's movements clearly resembled someone underwater. Therefore, if he didn't act like he was sticking his feet in water every once in a while, he'd be caught by a force of gravity bit by bit.
I must say, you're doing better than when I first danced in the sky. Here we go. Come with me.
When Bato beckoned to George, she gently flew into the stormy sky. It was just as a scene from a fairy tale. The scene unfolding before George's eyes felt entirely like an extension of his dream. Being able to fly is incredible. But so is the wind and the rain. 1 second.
What's this? Are the wind and the rain tormenting you? I could teach you magic to block against that. But it may be too early for you, and it may be a misuse of time right now.
Yes, the magic I need is in that. George wore a strong-willed gaze, refusing to let the wind and rain get to him.
Mansion is coming into sight. Hold on just a little longer. If you fall now, you'll hit the bushes in the rose garden.
The undulating rose garden was spread beneath the witch and George's gazes. This illusion-like scene no longer surprised George. Only the gradually approaching mansion was reflected in his eyes. Benoni, wait for me. I will definitely revive you. At that time, the cruel new witch could be seen staring at the guest house from a different location.
Now all that is left is the 7th and 8th twilights. Just 2 more, and my obligation to that old hag predecessor is finished. I'll kill Kraus and Natsuki. Let them die together like the good couple they are. Where's the target, Nya? In the lobby on the first floor of the guest house, 2 targets and Shirya Eva identified. Measuring anti-magic power levels. Data linked to 410. 410 data received. Anti-magic power levels are extremely low. If Eva just goes outside, they're tuna and a balloon on a chopping board. What do you think, Great Lady Beatrice? When you give the order, we shall slip right away. Please, your orders. You guys really are convenient furniture. Not at all like that old second-hand furniture that's only useful for gouging corpses. Right? Just Chester sisters, please show me your skill once more. Prepare to fire. And carry out the corpses again, got it? 'Cause I'll play with them a lot. No complaints from you, right, Donovan?
Correct. As you command.
At that moment, the witch noticed something. It was as though some presence had disappeared. Was it her imagination?
Was that someone's presence just now? Did anyone feel it? My apologies. I haven't noticed anything, so please forgive me. We were in the middle of observing the guest house, so our peripheral surveillance was set too off. What about you, Lucifer-chan? Did you feel any presence?
For just an instant, Lucifer glanced at Runaway, asking whether she should answer honestly or not. Runaway gave a small nod in response. No. My apologies, Battery-sama. We noticed nothing. It must have been the nothing. Forgive us the stupidity of our second-hand furniture.
I see. If a great demon like you says that, then it must have been my imagination.
The witch presently stared at the direction the presence had disappeared to. That was where the rose garden lay, and beyond that she could see the mansion's dark silhouette created by lightning. It took quite some time before she pushed her unsatisfied feelings aside. Must be all the nothing happening right now. And once again, faced the guest house. Crap! Ah! I'm sorry, Sims, but it's end of stream. I must go do what I wanted. But yes, that was a nice one. It was yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I must go. No. I must go. Shut up. Okay, it was nice because it was very calm for once. It was a lot of introspection. Beatrice talking with Butler, George, and Beatrice. It was nice. But tomorrow, we get the revival of Shannon. We get Kraus and Natsuhi dying, which makes sense because Eva is there. And since I think Eva is the culprit, it makes sense. So, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day of reckoning. Well, I shall see you then, Sims. Welcome back tomorrow. For now... Ruby, you can't be serious. I'm sorry, Ruby. Ako tako.